Rapper was killed in a drive-by shooting early this morning in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton was shot multiple times. According to the Sun-Times, he raps under the name FBG Cash. A 29-year-old woman with him was also shot, taken to the hospital in serious condition. It is believed Hamilton fired back at the shooter. Police don't have anyone in custody, at least not yet. 2 years ago, another rapper close to Hamilton, known as FBG Duck, was also shot and killed.
What if a rapper spent years essentially documenting pieces of his own story, not in a courtroom, not in a police interview, but in his songs, his Instagram posts, his interviews, his deleted stories? What if every bar, every caption, every subliminal reference was being quietly collected, cataloged, and saved, not by fans, but by federal investigators? That's exactly what some sources and online discussions claim may be happening right now surrounding Lil Durk. And what we're about to break down today may be one of the most controversial chapters of this entire situation yet. Prosecutors have reportedly already brought one serious federal case connected to Durk. Sources close to the situation claim another major development may already be taking shape. But today we're talking about something different, a case that many people online believe Durk may have been indirectly referencing for years without realizing it, a case that no one has ever officially been held responsible for. A situation where some people claim the alleged trail of information points heavily in one direction. Stay with me. This one goes deep. Before we get into the details surrounding June 22nd, 2022, we need to understand the environment that produced this moment.
Hey, Duke, listen to me, folks. Listen to what I'm saying, folks. Pull your motherfucking skirt down, folks. You not making no noise, folks. I'll ball you up and put you in the garbage can, boy. You can't see me with binoculars, dude. You can't see me on no type of level, folks. You better stop sharing them bankrolls with niggas, folks. I don't see you, nigga. You can't beat me on the song. You can't beat me at fighting, spit, none of that weightlifting, motherfucking. Nigga, we can pitch quarters. You can't beat me, dude. You hear me? You hear me? Take time try to get some followers up, nigga. Man, hey, look here. Go to your room.
Chicago's drill music scene is unlike anything else in American music history. It was raw, it was real, and for many people involved it came with serious consequences. O-Block, that's Parkway Gardens on the south side of Chicago. That's where King Von grew up. That's where Lil Durk built his influence. That's where some of the most heavily discussed street conflicts in modern music culture allegedly unfolded. And on the other side of that tension, the Gangster Disciples, the BDs, FBG, Flyboy Gang, FBG Duck, FBG Young, and the person at the center of today's story, FBG Cash. Many people outside Chicago don't fully know who FBG Cash was, so let's establish that quickly. Understanding who he was matters enormously for understanding what allegedly unfolded around him. FBG Cash was a rapper, a prolific one. He came from the St. Lawrence Street area of Chicago. He was connected with FBG Duck, FBG Young, and the wider Flyboy Gang circle. He was funny, charismatic, and fearless, maybe to a fault. And according to nearly everyone who knew him or followed his career, he wasn't someone who backed down from conflict. That mindset, many people online believe, may have ultimately played a major role in what happened later. But this is where things become even more interesting. The tension between FBG Cash and the O-Block camp didn't start in 2022. It didn't start in 2020 when King Von passed away. According to online records and publicly available social media archives, it goes back at least a full decade. The year is 2012. King Von, who at this point is a teenager on the south side of Chicago, is already building a reputation, and FBG Cash is already on the opposite side of that reputation. According to archived Twitter exchanges that have been widely shared online, Von and Cash had a very public back and forth that year. Cash had allegedly made a post referencing Taekwon Assassin, a female figure that King Von would later allegedly be connected to in very serious discussions online. Von responded. According to those archived posts, Von told Cash directly that he would cross paths with them when they least expected it. Cash responded back. He wasn't intimidated. He said he was grown, that he never tried to threaten him, and that he couldn't care less about disagreements escalating further. Von reportedly escalated the exchange even more, telling Cash that eventually things would be handled. What happened next in that exchange is something many people following this story point to as one of the earliest documented examples of just how deep this tension ran. Cash told Von, according to those reports, to stay careful out there, that his name was buzzing, but that he shouldn't end up making headlines. a warning, or maybe a prediction. Years later, Von's name would absolutely make headlines, and so would Cash's. But this is where things become even more complicated. According to rumors that have circulated widely online for years, and these remain unconfirmed discussions, FBG Cash may have allegedly been connected to an incident involving King Von years earlier. Sources claim that when Von was reportedly involved in a serious situation back in 2012, names being mentioned in online conversations as allegedly included Cash. If true, and again, this remains unconfirmed, many people online believe it could explain why emotions allegedly became so personal between these groups over the years that followed. Some observers believe the detail may have become increasingly important as time moved forward, and what came next only added another layer to everything. It wasn't just Von who allegedly had issues with FBG Cash. Durk, one of the more recognizable names allegedly connected to O-Block, reportedly had his own very public disagreements with Cash. According to footage and posts that circulated online, Cash would sometimes go out of his way to call Durk out specifically. He would post stacks of money, show off jewelry, and make it very clear that in his view he was doing well while others weren't. Durk would respond online, and eventually the back and forth started looking almost immature at times. Two grown men arguing publicly about money, reputation, and status. Beneath that surface level internet drama, many people who closely followed both sides believed something more serious was happening. According to people who watched these situations unfold online over the years, this wasn't viewed as ordinary social media tension. These were real people with real history, real disagreements, and very public issues that had allegedly existed for years. And every exchange, according to observers, may have been adding more pressures to a situation that was already difficult. These issues didn't stay in Chicago either. According to reports that circulated widely online, FBG Cash allegedly had an encounter involving people reportedly connected to Durk's circle in Atlanta. Sources claim that at Lenox Mall, a very public and busy location, Cash was approached by a group of individuals, and the interaction quickly became heated before Cash eventually left the area. Here's what many people who followed the situation noticed immediately. Cash wasn't someone known for backing away from confrontation. According to multiple discussions about that moment, he wasn't trying to avoid the situation. He stood his ground. Many people online pointed to that moment as an example of who Cash was. He was outnumbered in another city around people allegedly connected to ongoing tension, and he still wasn't backing away. Sources also allege that individuals connected to that Atlanta situation may have later shared broader connections to people involved in events that unfolded years afterward. And according to many online discussions surrounding this story, people began revisiting older situations differently after everything that followed. On November 6, 2020, King Von passed away following an incident outside a nightclub in Atlanta. The circumstances surrounding that situation were separate from Chicago tensions entirely. But what happened afterward changed everything surrounding the dynamic between O-Block and FBG Cash. Many people viewed Von as one of the biggest figures connected to that ongoing rivalry, and now he was gone. Many online believed tensions might slowly fade after that. They were wrong. Not long after Von passed away, a mural was created near O-Block in his memory, a place where friends and family could reflect and pay respect. According to reports that circulated widely online, it eventually became something more complicated. Some people connected to opposing sides of long-running tensions allegedly began showing up there and taking photos that many interpreted as disrespectful toward Von's memory. And according to multiple reports and archive posts, FBG Cash allegedly did exactly that. Sources claim Cash visited the mural and shared a caption afterward. That caption, which has been discussed extensively online, quickly became one of the most talked about public moments connected to this situation. According to archive discussions and reports, Cash strongly suggested he knew details surrounding what happened to Von and implied that time had passed without any response connected to those events. Many people online reacted immediately, but according to reports, what drew even more attention was what happened afterward, because Durk allegedly responded. On a song called Computer Murderers, Durk allegedly referenced Cash's appearance near Von's mural. According to people who analyzed the lyrics closely, some listeners believed certain lines carried direct meaning connected to the ongoing tension between both sides.
Selling drugs and plenty of pain. I know some pitties that'll knock your ass off with the chains. RIP my cousin, my heartbeat gon' beat the same. What the hell? Damn!
Online discussions surrounding the song intensified quickly. Some people viewed the lyrics as ordinary rap competition. Others believed there was more behind them. Legal analysts who have followed discussions around music and public statements have often pointed out that lyrics can sometimes become part of larger conversations in legal situations, particularly when prosecutors believe artistic expression overlaps with real-world events. But Cash wasn't finished. What happened next is something many people who followed this story point to as a major turning point. Cash released his own version of Durk and Von's well-known song, Back Again. For context, Back Again is widely considered one of Chicago drill music's defining tracks. It carried emotion, energy, and meaning. Within the O-Block circle, many people viewed it as especially important, and Cash flipped it. According to listeners who analyzed his version afterward, Cash didn't just direct criticism toward Durk and Von, he expanded it further. He referenced people connected to their circle, mentioned personal losses connected to different individuals, and according to many who heard the song, he made it clear that he wasn't backing away from long-running tensions connected to that world. People online reacted immediately. Many were saying the same thing. The situation was continuing to escalate. Several months before everything surrounding FBG Cash reached its turning point, reports claimed Durk allegedly shared a post and later removed it. But according to sources, enough people had already seen it and saved it that discussions about it spread widely online. According to those reports, the message appeared to be a response to tensions involving Cash, and many people interpreted parts of it as unusually direct language. Legal observers have pointed out that if prosecutors ever establish authorship and relevance surrounding material like that, public posts and deleted content can become important pieces of a broader picture. Removing something online doesn't always make it disappear, especially when screenshots exist. According to sources following these situations closely, investigators have reportedly spent years collecting publicly available material connected to larger investigations. That deleted post was allegedly only one piece of a much bigger picture. According to people who have closely followed Durk's music catalog over the years, references allegedly connected to FBG Cash didn't appear only once. They appeared repeatedly across different songs, different projects, and different periods of time. On one track specifically, listeners pointed to lyrics that drew renewed attention after later events unfolded. The line, which has been widely discussed both online and in legal discussions, allegedly appeared to reference Cash through wordplay. Many people online viewed it as significant. Others argued it was simply artistic expression. But legal observers often point toward a larger question in situations like this. Not necessarily what a lyric says by itself, but whether public statements align with outside evidence, timelines, or other information investigators may already have. This is the part of the story where many people following discussions around this case say things moved from ordinary speculation into something that felt more difficult to explain. After later events involving FBG Cash, online communities, fans, and observers reportedly started revisiting older music more closely. And according to people who analyzed those songs, they believed certain details appeared unusually specific. First, the location references. Some listeners believed certain lyrics seemed unusually close to details that were not heavily discussed publicly at the time. Additional details mentioned across different songs also became topics of discussion. Small references, specific wording, lines that people interpreted differently after looking back later. Legal observers have repeatedly pointed out that context matters heavily in situations involving artistic work. Lyrics alone don't automatically prove intent. But if investigators believe certain public material connects closely with outside evidence, timelines, or information not widely available publicly, discussions around those details can become increasingly significant. Now let's talk about what reportedly happened next. According to reports compiled from police records, FOIA information, and witness accounts, the events of June 22, 2022 unfolded during the early morning hours. Cash had reportedly been at a downtown Chicago nightclub earlier that evening. According to reports, some kind of disagreement or tense interaction took place involving unknown individuals. Later that night, he left and headed back toward his South Side neighborhood. He wasn't alone. According to reports, a woman named Tasha was with him and was driving. And here's where things become even more significant. According to sources, this allegedly wasn't the first concerning situation involving Cash and Tasha together. Roughly 1 week before everything that unfolded later, reports claimed their vehicle had allegedly been involved in another concerning situation near 81st and Vincennes. Cash reportedly made it through that earlier situation safely. But according to discussions surrounding the case, some people believe tensions connected to him had not fully disappeared. According to detailed reports compiled from witness accounts and FOIA information, as Cash and Tasha headed toward home during the early hours of June 22nd, unexpected events allegedly unfolded near 81st and Marshfield, close to Cash's residence. According to reports, another vehicle allegedly entered the situation near a one-way street. Sources claim events escalated rapidly. Cash allegedly attempted to move away from the situation. Authorities later arrived at the location, and emergency responders documented evidence connected to what had occurred during those early morning hours. News surrounding the situation spread quickly, and many people who had followed tensions connected to these groups over the years reacted strongly. Some said they were shocked. Others said they feared things had been moving toward a moment like this for a long time. But this is where things became even more controversial. According to reports and online discussions, some individuals allegedly connected to people surrounding the larger situation were accused online of reacting publicly afterward. According to sources, social media activity reportedly began drawing attention quickly. Posts, photos, messages, content that many people online immediately started documenting and discussing.
History that includes aggravated robbery and gun charges. This photo on his social media page appears to show him wearing 2 ankle bracelets. He went electronic AWOL in December. In his most recent case, he is charged with threatening a public official, a Chicago police officer, and his family. According to a department spokesperson, the officer was never notified that Hamilton ditched his ankle bracelet.
It's ridiculous because this is about public safety. The reason we put
Fuck the police!
One specific situation drew particularly strong reactions. Sources allege one individual reportedly recreated a style of photo connected to an earlier public moment involving Cash and Vaughn's mural. Many people online noticed it immediately because, according to discussions surrounding the case, people believed there could have been symbolic meaning behind it. According to online conversations surrounding the situation, another individual allegedly connected to the broader circle also released music shortly afterward that drew criticism online. Legal analysts often point toward a larger issue here. Public posts, public music, public reactions, public timelines, all of it creates record. And according to reports, investigators reviewing larger situations often pay close attention to exactly that kind of material. Because once information exists publicly online, people save it, archive it, screenshot it. And sometimes years later, people go back and look at it differently. But one major question still remained: how did people allegedly connected to this situation know where Cash would be that night? This became one of the biggest questions surrounding the entire story. According to unconfirmed discussions that circulated widely online afterward, some people speculated that location technology may somehow have played a role. None of that has ever been officially confirmed. But people following the situation closely pointed towards something else: the timing, the location, the precision. According to reports surrounding the case, events unfolded close to Cash's residence during early morning hours in a way that caused many observers to question whether someone may have already known where he was headed. Some sources pointed toward another possible explanation. According to reports discussed online, an individual allegedly connected to the broader situation may have had family ties connected to that area. If true, and again, these remain unconfirmed discussions, some people believe familiarity with the location itself could potentially explain part of what happened. Others questioned whether there may have been additional factors involved. And many people online kept asking the same question: did everything that happened that night happen by chance? Or was there more to it? According to FOIA information compiled and reviewed by independent researchers, a vehicle reportedly connected to discussions surrounding the case was never publicly identified with certainty. Researchers reviewing records reportedly found very little publicly available information matching what people were searching for. But according to reports, additional vehicle-related records later became part of online discussion. One reportedly connected near the broader area surrounding the incident, another reportedly connected closer to O-Block. People online immediately noticed. Some viewed it as meaningful, others argued it could simply be coincidence. Legal observers were more cautious because timelines, locations, and public information don't automatically prove connections by themselves. But people reviewing larger investigations often look at patterns, repeated details, repeated overlaps, repeated timelines. And according to reports surrounding the broader situation, federal investigators eventually became involved, which many observers believe meant additional resources and deeper review processes entered the picture. According to reports and online discussions, people following developments surrounding Durk believe broader patterns may be receiving increased attention. Prosecutors are allegedly reviewing multiple situations and examining whether separate events share overlapping context. Some observers believe investigators may be looking beyond isolated moments, looking instead at timelines, connections, patterns, public activity, and whether multiple situations allegedly point towards something larger. Legal analysts who follow federal investigations often can point toward one idea repeatedly. Broader patterns can sometimes become just as important as individual moments, particularly when investigators believe multiple pieces connect together. According to sources following the case closely, investigators may potentially have access to something unusual: years of publicly available material, songs, interviews, social media activity, public statements, deleted posts, archived content, information shared publicly over long periods of time. According to people following these developments, that possibility continues raising questions. Some believe Durk may have referenced Cash across different projects over multiple years, using wordplay, layered meanings, and lines that listeners later revisited differently. Certain lyrics gained renewed attention after later developments unfolded. Some listeners believed references inside the music felt unusually specific. Others argued that interpretation after major public events can sometimes change how people hear older material. And according to reports surrounding the broader discussion, all of those songs existed in a format that remained publicly available: recorded, uploaded, archived, streaming services, social media, interviews, public posts, content that stays accessible long after it's first shared. Many people online have said something similar for years. They were surprised by how long larger investigations sometimes appear to take. But legal analysts often point out something important: complex federal investigations can move slowly. Major cases involving large timelines, large amounts of information, public records, communications, and digital material can take years. And according to reports surrounding this broader discussion, investigators may have been reviewing publicly available information for a very long time: lyrics, posts, videos, deleted content, archived material, public timelines. Before later events changed everything, FBG Cash gave multiple interviews. And according to people who have reviewed those conversations closely, some comments he made during those final months continue drawing attention. In one interview, Cash reportedly referenced the original Back Again and suggested he viewed himself as connected creatively to ideas surrounding it. He was confident, relaxed, and comfortable with controversy. But according to another reported account, Cash allegedly made a different claim that drew major attention online. He suggested that Durk may have encouraged him to take a photo near Vaughn's mural. Many people online reacted immediately, because if true, and this remains unconfirmed, some observers believed it would completely change how people viewed that public moment. Others argued there wasn't enough information to reach conclusions, but discussions surrounding that possibility continued growing. And according to people following the situation closely, some believe questions surrounding those interactions may become increasingly important over time. What makes this discussion larger than one individual situation is what some observers believe investigators may potentially be examining: patterns, timelines, repeated overlaps, public statements, and public activity. According to reports, some legal analysts believe investigators may be studying whether separate situations allegedly share larger contextual similarities: moments of public tension, online escalation, public exchanges, and broader timelines developing over long periods. Legal observers often point towards something important. When investigators examine large situations, they don't always focus only on individual moments. Sometimes they study broader patterns, broader context, broader connections. Years later, major questions still remain unanswered. People online continue asking why. Legal observers have offered possible explanations. Some analysts point out that in larger investigations, authorities sometimes move carefully when reviewing broader situations, particularly if they believe additional context still needs to be established. And according to reports, some observers believe investigators may have been building a larger understanding before making public moves. If true, some people believe developments later could potentially become more substantial than many originally expected. But fairness matters, and context matters too. Lil Durk has not been convicted regarding allegations connected to FBG Cash, and defense perspectives surrounding situations like this often emphasize something important. Music is art, performance, storytelling, expression. Courts have debated that issue for years. Civil liberties groups have also raised concerns regarding how artistic material is sometimes interpreted, particularly when public expression becomes part of legal discussions. Those concerns remain important. Legal analysts often point toward another question, not only what appears inside songs, but whether public material aligns with outside timelines, public records, communications, witness accounts, and digital information. And according to reports surrounding this discussion, some observers believe those are exactly the kinds of questions investigators continue examining. According to people following developments surrounding this situation, discussion around Lil Durk continues moving quickly. Reports and online conversations suggest additional developments may potentially emerge over time. And according to people closely watching everything unfold, many believe there could still be major information that has not yet become public. People who have followed Durk's career from the beginning say they feel like they're watching something unusual happen in real time. An artist with that level of commercial success, that level of influence, that level of reach, now connected to discussions unfolding on an enormous scale. And according to reports, some observers believe publicly available information may play a larger role than many originally expected. Here's what makes this discussion larger than one individual situation. It raises a bigger question, one that goes beyond one artist, one case, one story. At what point does public expression become impossible to separate from public perception? At what point do stories told through music begin taking on a life of their own? Those questions have become increasingly important in discussions like these, and people continue debating them every day. FBG Cash was a real person, someone with family, friends, a career, a story, a complicated past shaped by circumstances many people will never fully understand. Whatever the full truth ultimately turns out to be, many people believe the outcome surrounding this story remains deeply tragic. And if future developments eventually provide clearer answers, people will continue debating what responsibilities looks like, what accountability looks like, and where public expression fits into conversations like these. Many people online say something similar. Whenever new information becomes public, the story keeps evolving, questions continue building, and discussion continues growing. Now the question goes to you. What do you think? Do you believe more developments could still happen? Do you think public statements and lyrics should ever play a role in larger investigations? Or do you think people sometimes read too deeply into artistic expression? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on future developments connected to stories like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on. According to people following this closely, this conversation may be far from over. Thanks for watching.